you shut the fuck up. You keep talking, man. And you shut the fuck up.
Yes, top of the AM, the news by Shanewz. Man, my sleeping patterns is off, man. That's what happens when you work around the clock. You just be all discombobulated for a couple of days. But I want to come on here um and touch on something that I see, gaining a little momentum on the YTC, right? Um and I want to break down the differences for you guys real quick, right? Because let me get the picture up there. Let's throw the picture up. 1 second. I want to throw the picture up. Let's clear the air, right? So the Turkish, the prince, the ruler, the excellency, right? Is kind of trending. He did an interview, and a lot of content creators are running with what he's saying about paying for fights and putting on these fights, right? Now, I know you guys, a lot of you guys want to compare him to Al Heyman, because remember, Al Heyman was the first guy that was saving boxing with his model, right? Um, but let's do a quick comparison because I want to shut stuff down on my spectrum, on my behalf, right? Before it gets too out of hand, right? Now, when Al Heyman was doing this, what the Turkish is trying to do, what were the matchups that we were getting? See, the difference is right there, right? Um, Al Heyman wasn't giving us the matchups. Al Heyman might have been paying the fighters because he had the hedge fund, the $1 billion hedge fund. But what were the actual matchups that he was giving us? Yes, in the beginning, because I remember I was a part of a lot of those fights, going to watch them and um, enjoy those fights. I think I might have had. I definitely know I didn't have my YouTube channel. But I was covering boxing in some form of fashion, but I definitely didn't have the YouTube channel like I have now. But yeah, he was giving us the fights, right? But was he giving us the fights that you know the Turk is talking about, right? The Prince. No, he wasn't. He was giving us fights and paying fighters, right? And I know this because I was at these fights. He was giving us fights like Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, right? Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner, Sean Porter, fights like that for free at the time. We wasn't paying pay-per-view. These guys were getting good money, right? But were these the big fights, right? Were they the big fights? See, I think a lot of fans come on here, and I'm going to use this right here for example. Like I was on Twitter today, and old Earl Spence video surfaced of Earl Spence beating on a guy laying on the ropes. Right, the guy was literally laying on the ropes, uh, like fought out of a high guard and let Earl Spence just wail on him. Right now, um, I seen not a YouTuber, Twitter. I don't know how the definition to use for it, but a guy posted it on Twitter, and he was like, "This is the Earl Spence we need. Terrence Crawford stands no chance." Now I commented because this is around the time where I was still fucking with EJ and them, and I was like, "Man," I said something. I said, "Man, this video served its purpose." You see how I didn't go into detail and say this, but I'm gonna say it now. I said, see, the video served its purpose. It programs you guys to believe about EJ. Meanwhile, if you know what you're looking at and you really dissect it, all it did is he's fighting a heavy bag with gloves because the dude just laid on the ropes and let EJ wail away on him. He wasn't fighting back. Now, in an actual fight, now, if this was the case, most 9 times out of 10, a skilled fighter that knows what they're doing, they're gonna clinch or they're either gonna fight back. But this guy just sat there and let EJ just wail away on him, giving the fans the perception like, oh man, it's punch rate, yada yada yada, and it served its purpose. That's what I said. I said, man, the video served its purpose. Look how it got you guys underneath the assumption. Got him, right? Got it, right? But back to the topic right here. Al Heyman basically just had $1 billion, right? And what he did was he ran through that $1 billion amongst his fighters, right? Paying himself more than he actually paid the fighters. Because remember, if Al Heyman is the manager and the manager of the hedge fund, and his guys are fighting Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, 25%, 25%. He's making 50%. So he's making his money, right? Now, the Turkish, on the other hand, they said he's trying to save boxing. People are like, why y'all giving him credit and not Al Heyman? Did Al Heyman actually save boxing? What Al Heyman did was get rich. And he paid his fighters at the time before the money dried up well. But he paid himself better. See, you guys don't talk about that. Maybe you guys don't know that or you don't understand that. And when guys was trying to tell you this, uh, what were we? We were haters, we were mad, we were this. No, Al Heyman paid himself good, and he gave us watered down fights. Like I said, once the model dried up, he didn't give us the fights that this guy is talking about trying to give us, right? He's talking about Devin Haney and Tank Davis. He wants to make that fight, which I don't think he's going to be able to. We'll have to wait and see, because we seen just probably this is who the guy. I'm trying to get that confirmed, but like a lot of times it's hard because people don't really want to release certain information. But I have my ways of getting it. But I was trying to find out, was this the guy that was willing to give Terrence the 50 million? Because remember, Terrence had secured $50 million for him and Earl Spence. And remember, Earl Spence said all money's not good money. So I was trying to do some due diligence behind the scene and see if this was who Terrence had secured the 50 million from. Remember that Terrence had got the money that time. Remember, but Earl Spence said all money's not good money via Al Heyman, right? And I think we're gonna get the same thing because he has put out there that he wants to put on the Tank Davis and Devin Haney fight, but Al Heyman's not trying to let these guys go. Whatever type of paperwork he has on them, and they can't really do certain things. But you know, you do have options. But hey, what do I know? But we need to pump the brakes on this guy saving boxing. Right now, what he is a hedge fund, right? But he's not a hedge fund. He has resources to fund fights, right? But saving boxing, right? I just think what he's doing is he's a promoter's nightmare because now he has the resources to put on a fight and pay these fighters, right? What a lot of the other promoters could not do or didn't want to do. Because at the end of the day, promoters can do what they choose to do. It's what they choose to do, right? And how they choose to do it. But most promoters are in the business of staying in business. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother live to break down to you. But I don't, I don't like breaking down a lot of stuff because I just feel like when you sit on the internet and you research, what is talked about on the internet, when you get to a lot of topics that are over people's heads, over their frequency, they do not understand. They just don't, right? But Al Heyman versus this guy, I would say so far the Turk is shitting on Al Heyman because not only is he uh giving the fans fights that the fans want or he's attempting to, he's not from looking on right now. He's just doing it as a fan to me. Whereas Al Heyman, and I always said this, once I really was over there and I was hands on with people, I was like, yo, this guy's not, he's doing it for his own profit. He's the advisor slash manager, and all of his guys are fighting amongst each other. He's getting paid every time every guy, one of these guys fight on the card, that especially his guys, he's getting his 25%, 20%, whatever his percentage is. You know, those fighters know what they signed with him. I'm just putting the number out there. I don't know the actual number, right? But every time they fight, Thurman, Porter, he got his percentage off of both of those guys. So he was eating double. So he actually didn't, he never saved boxing. He saved himself. That's why he ran through that $1 billion the way he did. And we never got the big fights, right? You guys say this to this day. Oh, Tank Davis never fought nobody. Tank Davis never fought nobody, right? Apparently, a lot of those guys over there never fought nobody because then when they fought actual somebodies, and I'm gonna use Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford damn near knocked off every PBC guy that we thought was that guy. Sean Porter, right? Sean Porter now doing podcasts and doing a podcast at a very high frequency. Terrence Crawford stopped him. This is the guy that took all these guys over there, teeth, to nail hard fights. Sean Porter and Danny Garcia, hard fight. Hard fight, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. Hard fight, Earl Spence, right? Goes up against Terrence Crawford, gets stopped. Oh, his daddy made him quit. Okay, fuck it. His daddy made him quit. Now, Bud goes up against EJ. EJ is probably the best. He was the creme de la creme. He's the one that came out on top of these guys, right? He beat Danny Garcia. He never fought Keith Thurman. He beat Sean Porter, right? He was the biggest. Terrence Crawford, we all know the T-Mobile massacre. T-Mobile massacre. Now, how is this possible for Terrence to do this to the guy who's supposed to be the best out of those guys that I just named? Because maybe all those guys that I just named, it was a smoke and mirror show over there. We was all programmed to believe that these guys were the most elite fighters because they are fighting amongst each other. And not only are they fighting amongst each other, we are programmed to believe that they are the best because Al Heyman controls the show. He controls the media, right? He's the best thing happening in boxing. Bob Arum is evil. Eddie Hearns is evil. Al Heyman is the best. He's paying his fighters the best. He's taking care of his guys. When in all actuality, he's taking care of himself. So with the Turk, let's just wait, man, because like I said, he has a plan. Al Heyman had a plan. And we've seen what his plan turned into. Showtime leaving the business. Al losing how many networks? Fox and all these other networks. And as time went on, Al Heyman's plan, we paid for his plan, right? And we never really got the fights that we wanted. How long did it take us to get Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence, which Al Heyman never wanted to happen? Never wanted that fight to happen. But how long did it take for us to get that fight? 5 years. And it also took for what? Earl Spence to get with AC and Fighters First Management. Because to be honest, that fight was never going to happen because the powers that be over there, Al and others, knew what was going to happen to EJ. They knew that EJ, who, and I'm not going to call him a hype job, but who was uh, managed well, advised well, moved a particular way, and then the other things that played a part, like I spoke on earlier, of programming, putting out the right content, and having the deaf, dumb, and blind buy into that content and matching him very well. Fighting what? One, two Southpaws in 28, 27 fights, right? Fighting guys who promote his skill set, right? These are all the things that they did. And Al Heyman was a major part of these things, right? Now we have this new Al Heyman, I'm going to call him, a new Al. That's why I said Al versus the Turk. But one thing that I'd say with the Turk is a promoter slash hedge fund. Let's call him a hedge fund, right? He just wants to pay the fighters and put on shows. You see, he said, I had the plan for, you know, Fury, Usyk, and then the winner fighting the winner of Fury. I mean, AJ Nagano, right? And he's talking this shit because he has the money. He's the budget. And who else said that? Bob Arum came out and said the money. We have the money. So this is the guy that is controlling the money. And when you control the money, you can basically control boxing. Al Heyman versus this man. That's how Al Heyman was able to do it. Al Heyman had that $1 billion hedge fund that now was gone and dried up. And when he had access to that, the reason why these promoters couldn't stand him was because they didn't have that $1 billion. Now you see Al no longer has that. Is Al Heyman the best thing in boxing? No, he's not. We still don't even have the schedule for Amazon Prime. Why? Because Amazon Prime is not giving him $1 billion. Contrary to what all of these insiders, well, oops, sorry, wrong word, content creators were out here pumping, right? They were pumping that hard, pump faking that hard. Because now we are going into damn near February, right? What's today? The 18th, January 18th. We still don't have the schedule because he doesn't have that $1 billion budget. See, when he had that $1 billion budget, it was easy to have all of his guys continue to fight one another. Now that he doesn't have that budget, nor does he have a networks, plural, he only has a platform that's only willing to give him what, 12 to 14 fights. It's kind of hard. Whereas the Turk, he doesn't have a platform. What he has is a big bankroll, right? So let's just wait to see. I'm not gonna say he's saving boxing yet, because the last guy that we said was saving boxing, look at him now, respectfully. He still hasn't released his schedule. A lot of his top fighters that he was paying to the T not only crashed out, they're continuing to crash out. One in particular that walked away from a Rock Nation deal is now in talks. Well, he's not. It's not even in talks. This is what the game has come down to. AB and Devin Haney, right? They're not gonna fight. I don't even know why people are even entertaining this type of shit. But that's what we do. You see, I said we. I included myself because I don't want to act like I'm bigger than anybody else. And I know that's what turns a lot of you guys off. But I just talk the way I talk because You guys talk about shit that I have actually done or I'm continually to do. So if that offends you, by all means, don't listen to me or do some of the things that I say I do and show them, show it, right? But let's just wait to see, man. I don't think this guy's saving boxing. I just think he's a breath of fresh air for boxing because now he's making guys that we once seen as the saviors actually have to do shit and put on actual fights that the public want to see. Because, like I said, Al Heyman, when he had the $1 billion, he really didn't give us the fights that we wanted to see. He gave us the fights that were profitable for him. All of his guys fighting one another, paying them well. Now he's the same guys that he paid well. Keith Thurman, right? When's the last time Keith fought? These guys that he was paying very well. Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd just fought on a smaller promoter's card, December 9th or December 8th. It was we fought the 9th. He fought the 8th. But let's just see, man. Right now, like I said, I like his energy. I'm gonna really dissect this the interview probably right after I shut this down. But I like his energy. I like the fact that he has unlimited resources, so forth. That's what we're seeing. Um, but will he be able to get these fights? Like, yeah, he said he reached out to Tank Davis and Al Heyman, but Al Heyman doesn't want nobody to really touch his fighters because one thing about Al Heyman has these guys underneath that Jim Jones Kool-Aid over there. I don't know what type of new edition deal these guys signed or I just don't know, man. And I'm not gonna be like the rest of you deaf, dumb, and blind fools that are fans that don't know nothing anyway, but get on here. I remember this one guy. I'm not gonna put his name out there, but this guy, man, and now he's hiding. He don't even pop out on social media like that. This dude used to always want to talk to me about boxing and tell me how great Al Heyman was. I'm like, bro, have you ever met Al Heyman? Do you even know Al Heyman? Um, do you have any fighters that are affiliated with Al Heyman? You're just going off of shit that you was programmed to believe. But you're talking to somebody who actually talks to managers and deals with people in the game. You don't even you're a fan, right? We're all fans, but you're a fan because you don't deal with nobody in the game other than other content creators. But you're telling me about one of the head honchos that you have no type of dealing with. At least some of the people that I talked with or deal with have dealings with this man. And I can ask them, like, yo, why do you think he does this? Why do you think he does that? Whereas you're telling me about this man and you don't have no type of dealings with him. Hopefully y'all are catching that sauce, man. I don't want to come off as an asshole, but sometimes I come off as an asshole. And when I feel like Dame Dash, I understand what Dame Dash says. Sometimes you have to be an asshole, right? When you're trying to prove a point to people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And then they try to talk to you like you don't know what you're talking about, but you're actually doing the things that they're talking about. Hopefully y'all caught that sort. But let's just wait to see, man. Like I said, I'm digging the Turk, but we've been here before. We've seen a guy that had $1 billion, give us the banana in the tailpipe. Because you guys said it. Tank Davis never fought nobody. But Tank Davis is an Al Heyman guy. He never fought nobody. This is what you guys said. So if he never fought nobody and he's the Al Heyman guy, did Al Heyman save boxing? Or did Al Heyman save himself and make a lot of money? See, this guy, at least his plan so far is to give and the YTC fans. He's trying to give you guys the fights that you guys want. Tank, Devin. Uh if Wilder didn't slip up, he was gonna give us AJ and Wilder, but that fell through because of Wilder inactivity and lack of hunger and all kind of other things. But like I said, let's just let this play out, man. Let it play out, man. Pump the brakes, though, man. Let this guy actually do some things first before the picture. We say that he's saving boxing because we've been down this road before. Al Haymon was saving boxing. Now Al Haymon can't even release his schedule. We're still waiting on it. Remember, he was the previous saver of boxing. He paid his fighters the best. And now some of his same fighters that he paid the best are basically out here, and I quote, doing publicity stunts. Because Adrian Broner and Devin Haney are not going to fight. They're not going to fight. So is that a publicity stunt, Bill? AB? Is that a publicity stunt, right? This is what you guys say. I say it is. I say it is. He said the biggest fight he had was AJ versus Wallin. Yes, absolutely. That's why you see what I said, Art Man the Great. I said, let's pump the brakes, man. Let this guy do some things. He's talking about doing it. Well, we got to see the Devin versus Tank. We got to see the Bivol versus Betcha Bive. We got to see these fights first. Let these fights take place. Right now we got the undisputed heavyweight going down next month around this time, right? Yes, around this time that fight will be over, February 17th. So let's just let it play out, man. Like I said, don't in the game of manipulation, because that's what this is. We live in the era of manipulation. A lot of you guys already took the pill. So a lot of you guys already see the programming has started. The man who saved boxing. He's the new Al Haymon. Remember, Al Haymon saved boxing, but now Al Haymon hasn't yet to release his schedule. Al Haymon guys are taking fights injured. If you caught my live earlier, you know what I mean by that, right? Al Heyman's guys are being slaughtered and sacrificed. They're leaving out of the Heyman yard, the Heyman shell, the Heyman bubble, and fighting on other platforms and networks and with other promoters, the co-promoting, and they're getting destroyed. They got destroyed. A lot of them, all of them, name them, man. Cool Boy, Wilder, Spence, all these guys, man, these hitters, man. Motherfucking Charlo. These guys were hitters, man. Hitters. The money's dried up and they had to go off the reservation, and find fights. And when they did, it wasn't the same. The savior failed them. Now these guys that were saved by once the guy who had the title that they're trying to put on the Turk no longer got it, man. Keith Thurman hasn't fought in what, a year, 2 years? Charlo finally got a fight after how many years? 2 years. His brother, a year and a half. Earl Spence, a year and a half. Deontay Wilder, a year and some change. Cool Boy Steph, a year plus. This was the original savior, Al Haymon. So I'm not going there yet. I'm not going there yet with the Turk. I like his energy. I like the fact that he has the bag to fund the fights. But let's just see. Because we already had the banana in the tailpipe. But hey, what do I know? The news by Shanewz. This is the Source Experience.
Yo, you know who it is. It's Chop Chop Coley, one and only. I'm a Hall of Fame legend right here. I'm here with the sauce, y'all. We gonna chop it up real soon. Back in the kitchen with Chop Chop Kitchen.
Yeah, you know the vibe.
You keep talking, man. And you shut the fuck up.